Auzubillahiminashaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu pakhair wagale. Ni hao, chunashumme, washmale, ohaya gunzaimes, guten morgen, hola, boyor, privyet, kaifa hal, haleshuma chatore, ahlan wasalan marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, suabi, abhalli kere aaya. And thank you very much, everybody, for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching what this morning on a very fine Monday morning over here in Islamabad alongside the one and only Shahzad Ehsan Khan. Ladies and gentlemen, first things first, obviously I certainly want to know, and I'm very interested in knowing that all of my viewers out there in 46 different countries are doing wonderfully well. Well, not just that, I'm not going to certainly discriminate amongst people who are watching us right now or not, but my prayer goes out for each and every one of you that may you have a very prosperous and a healthy life. And there's a reason why I'm saying that. And the reason is that obviously a lot of people these days are under the weather and they're still confused whether, God forbid, they're COVID positive or not. The best part over here is that for all of those people who are worrying whether they've got COVID or not, those are the people who really haven't been following all these standard operating procedures put in place by the government. People all of a sudden have forgotten to wear their masks. People have forgotten to use sanitizer. People have forgotten that they're not supposed to shake their hands or hug each other. So please, for anybody and everybody who's out there, if you're listening to me, ladies and gentlemen, we certainly do not want our loved ones to be ill or to be not feeling well, because God forbid, just imagine, put yourself in the shoes of a sick man. I mean, imagine that, that you certainly do not want to live the life where you're like, okay, I'm not feeling myself. I'm under the weather. I'm not really very well. But that's part of life. I mean, as much as you can avoid all of these things, please make sure that you do that so that you lead a very healthy life as well. I only want to share my experience, and that is that, imagine that 1 hour of workout every single day, ladies and gentlemen, will take you away from all of these illnesses and diseases where we talk about cholesterol, where we talk about hypertension, where we talk about obesity, which itself is a disease as well. So please make sure that you look after yourself, keep yourself warm, dress according to the weather, and just enjoy life, because that's the purpose of life. And you're given this chance only once. Make sure that you make it to the fullest as well. But other than that, obviously PSL is on, and when we say PSL is on, game is on as well. Just yesterday I was with Rashid Bhai in PTV Sports Studios as well, and there was quite a lot of conversation. But yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, it was Islamabad United versus Karachi Kings, where Islamabad United made a total of 177 for the loss of 6 wickets. That one thing which I love about Islamabad United is that they have depth within their batting order. I mean, imagine, just look at the figures where it's Sterling 39 on 30 balls, Alex Hales 30 of 21, Colin Munro 33 of 33, Shadab Khan 34 of 19. What to say about Shadab Khan? He's such a wonderful captain that he's been giving performances, and that too non-stop. And not just that, as we come down from Shadab Khan to Asif Ali as well, he chipped in another 10, Azam chipped in another 16, and Devon Harris chipped in a good total as well. Well, I think it might probably be 8, but imagine that within this batting order, everybody did what was in their capacity. And I certainly want to kind of appreciate the kind of captaincy Shadab has shown, and it's because of the fact that every match almost he's been able to take 4 or 5 wickets as well. Then Mohammad Wasim coming in, who I believe was a little expensive because he gave away 41 runs in 4, which makes it an economy of plus 10. But Hassan Ali did a good over. It looks like as if he's back with his line and length. With 4 overs, he only gave away 26 runs. Now, coming back to Karachi Kings, unfortunately for the fans of Karachi Kings, first of all, didn't have a good selection, and then obviously there's no execution, and we certainly cannot blame Babar for that, because the team he was given wasn't the team he should have been the captain of. But Sharjeel Khan only putting in 6, Babar 8, unfortunate, went off onto a spinner. Saibzada Farhan, who I believe is a makeshift wicketkeeper, Karachi Kings should have actually looked into having Ruhail Nazir as the captain rather. But Muhammad Nabi, wow, what a wonderful stroke, 47 of 28 deliveries. But Chris Jordan making sure that he's going to cast his spell onto the Islamabad United batters, where within 4 overs he gave away 36 runs with 2 wickets. And Imad, I think the spinners are actually ruling within this PSL. I mean, till the time we're at least in the National Stadium Karachi today, it's going to be the last game in the National Stadium Karachi. Unfortunately for Karachi Kings, they have lost all their games, and for Islamabad United, ladies and gentlemen, it was the 3rd win. And while we kind of take a look at the points table as well, the top teams, the top 4 teams, ladies and gentlemen, I believe will be the teams who will be entering the playoffs as well. So after today's match, ladies and gentlemen, all these boys who are playing PSL are going to come down to Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore. There will be a 2-day break, and then from Thursday onwards, the PSL will resume as well. We hope everybody's getting entertained. PCB has done a great job in making sure that they're going to organize this mega event in a way where there's going to be no flaw. So Ramiz Raja Saab and your entire team, you guys have done a great job. And PTV Sports, you're doing a great job ever since you turned to HD. But other than that, there's one more very important update which we really need to share, because one of our strongest allies, ladies and gentlemen, Saudi Arab, when we talk about them, obviously they have certainly backed up Pakistan in all the difficult situations, and hence Interior Minister of Saudi Arabia, Prince Abdul Aziz bin Saud bin Naif, will arrive in Pakistan today on a day-long visit, where briefing media in Islamabad, Interior Minister Sheikh Rashid Ahmed said Pakistan shared historic relations with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. While paying tribute to armed forces, the Interior Minister said security forces killed 20 terrorists during last 72 hours. Sheikh Rashid Ahmed Saab further said opposition has spread anarchy on Kashmir Solidarity Day. He said opposition has no interest in Long March. They want to remain alive in the media. So very warm welcome to His Excellency. As soon as you are here, inshallah, you will witness that, Pakistan is that wonderful place where everybody wants to welcome, and we are one of the most hospitable nations as well, and that's what we want to extend to our Saudi counterparts as well. But other than that, now when I've actually spoken about how people are feeling under the weather, and that has to do with the weather itself in the first place. Wow, that was smart. So imagine that when we say that, I'm under the weather, it's probably because we are transitioning from either summers to winters or winters to summer as well, which now a lot of people are feeling. Even you can kind of see that the way I'm speaking, I feel a little under the weather as well, even though I've been following all the SOPs, but I might not have that strong immunity. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that climate change is for real, and we certainly need to kind of pay attention towards climate change and really need to contribute as a society and as a country to make sure that we stop it, because we want our future generations to be healthier and safer, which is why we actually have a package for you to kind of learn and then do your bit as well. So please go ahead and take a look.
Millions of people are already suffering from the catastrophic effects of extreme disasters exacerbated by climate change in 2021. Scorching temperatures caused deadly heat waves in Canada and Pakistan and set off wildfires in Greece and Siberia. There was severe flooding in Germany and China, while in Madagascar, a particularly prolonged and intense drought has driven 1 million people to the brink of what is being described as the world's first climate change-induced famine. Climate change and its effects will continue to grow and worsen over time, creating ruin for current and future generations. Burning fossil fuels, agriculture and land use and other activities that drive climate change greenhouse gases are at the highest levels they have ever been over the last 800,000 years. Climate change involves not only rising temperatures but also extreme weather events, rising sea levels, shifting wildlife populations and habitats, and a range of their impacts. There is an overwhelming scientific consensus that global warming is mostly man-made. Climate scientists have come to this conclusion almost unanimously. It is important to remember that no one list of the effects of climate change can be exhaustive. It is very likely that heat waves will occur more often and last longer, and that extreme precipitation events will become more intense and frequent in many regions. Countries need to go for everything they can to help stop the global temperature rising by more than 1.5 degrees centigrade. All the countries of the world must collectively reduce their greenhouse gas emissions to absolute zero before or by 2050. Richer countries should do this faster. By 2030, global emissions must be half as much as they were in 2010. Stop using and producing fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas as quickly as possible. World should work together to fairly share the burden of climate change. Richer countries must provide financial and technical support to people in developing countries who have suffered and will continue to suffer losses and damages caused by the climate crisis.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, which is why we certainly need to move on towards renewable energy sources, because I believe that we do have an example of one of our cities over here, which is one obviously densely populated, but then all of these fossil fuels production are actually adding on to the climate change over there as well. Hence, we actually experience smog within Lahore as well, which has an impact on your health. So please make sure that whatever we can do within our own capacity, we do that to make sure that we do not contribute to the emissions as well, where people are moving on towards smarter solutions. May it be electric cars for that particular reason, may it be making sure that we have standards in place where, you know, a certain amount of emission cannot go into the air. And then obviously now there's this one more newer concept, and I hope that I put it right in front of you and in the right way as well, where it's the carbon debt. And now what people do is that, for example, for all of those industries who are emitting all of these gases as well, what they do is that they certainly have to pay a certain amount where they get this carbon debt, and then, you know, so they can release a certain percentage of the emissions into the air because they have bought that. And then that's how the world is kind of being regulated in terms of emissions. But now let's get into what we are talking about. Now, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, you know, there's so many different forms of art. When we talk about it, what we really need to now kind of move on to is digital art. And when we speak about digital art, I don't know how many people might know about it, but NFTs are out there and it's a real thing and people are getting paid for that, and it's all because of digital art and the pictures people have. So imagine having this very intangible picture or piece of art inside your computer's hard drive, which you might be able to sell for $37 million in days to come, or probably $100 million. And that's what's happening these days. Imagine that people are purchasing pictures that through on internet through via blockchain, where obviously the record's going to be with everybody and it's going to be authentic and you can have it, and it's just going to be in your hard drive, and it certainly feels very different. Okay, you know, we are spending so much money, but we are spending on something which we cannot touch, feel. We can only see it, and that too through a computer screen does not really make a lot of sense, right? But there are a lot of people who are delving themselves into you know, these kinds of art as well, where one of them is very popular these days. I mean, I don't know how many of you have seen Burj Khalifa as well, because what they do is that whenever it's Pakistan's day, or probably, you know, whenever it's our Independence Day, 14th of August, they will have this amazing flag on Burj Khalifa. Even over here in Pakistan, I have worked for certain different other property expos where people do this projection mapping, that's what we call it, or 3D mapping as well. And that's something we're talking about today. And I'm really interested, and it's because of the fact that I always wanted to kind of learn about it. So today is the day, because we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a visual artist herself, all the way from Thailand. She's been living in Malaysia, she's been living in Thailand. And what she's doing is that she wants to introduce this as a course within universities. And believe you me, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about different disciplines within universities, I believe that Pakistan is a little way behind as well, and we really need to kind of jump onto newer courses which are available. My producer is saying that you're talking too much, you really need to introduce your guest. So without any further ado, we're very lucky that we've been joined by a visual artist. She happens to be Dr. Hina Umar. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum salam, how are you?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us, and it's wonderful to have you. How are you?
I am great.
What brings you back to Pakistan from Thailand?
Well, good food and emotional bonds with parents. That was the first one.
Wow, that's wonderful. And,
Yes.
and it's important as well. You certainly need that. But let's talk about you being a visual artist. How did you get into it, first of all? And what is it? You know, we want to certainly understand what projection mapping or 3D mapping is, if I'm saying it correctly.
Okay, I'll begin first saying thanks to my parents, because coming from Pakistan, for a girl, it's really hard to, you know, pursue her ambitions.
True.
So I have to give my high five to my mom and dad for letting me acquire the knowledge.
Thank you, uncle and auntie. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, acquiring the knowledge that I have and I have gained so far. So starting from projection mapping,
Yeah.
it is a very abstract term. People are still confused about it. Projection mapping, what are you projecting?
Yeah.
So coming down to narrow it down to simplest word, like lighting design, but it's a more of an ambient, artistic way of lighting.
True.
And people use projectors. And that could
Big projectors.
Big projectors. No, it could vary from big to small, depending
Alright.
on what kind of a venue you have.
Okay.
So, for example, in the environment we're sitting in the background, we could have flowy, dreamy visuals using projectors.
Wow.
You could change scenes, you could change mood, you can change the environment. So that's the normal and the layman understanding of projection mapping. So if anybody comes to me and asks me projection map, it's just simple artistic way of lighting, a very revolutionary tool that people use. And it's very handy in terms of marketing and digital marketing, merchandising, product development. It is a very good marketing tool.
And people are using it worldwide, and alhamdulillah, people over in Pakistan are even using it, and it's wonderful. So, to get a better understanding of it, let's talk about what goes on behind the scenes, because I've seen people panicking at the last moment because the configuration was a little out, and, the images they wanted to be played, they weren't ready, so something like that. So, does it have to do with software development in the first place, and then kind of placing whatever the client's demand is? And then, so what goes
So there are many ways you can take it forward. Personally, sometimes it's client-driven, sometimes it's project-driven.
Okay.
When it's project-driven, then that's what I'm directing. So I'm more interested in props. So for me, manual, which is diminishing these days, everything is transforming to the digital aspect.
True.
So where I come in the picture, I want to have a balance to respect the lost art forms like theater and stuff like that are losing its grip in society, because people want instant satisfaction. They want instant gratification.
from art at least?
Yes, from art at least, or from your own self, your image. You're a brand yourself.
Yeah, just like that.
So exactly. So I want to create a balance where projection mapping, lighting, design, projectors take the manual art that is missing in Pakistan that people don't go to. People don't go to museums, army museums.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there like white elephants, and people need to see these historical places where you can use this art form and use projection mapping to enhance these venues.
Exactly.
So think of anything historical that is lacking in Pakistan where people don't go anymore.
Yeah.
Like museums could be one.
We don't, yeah.
So projection mapping can balance and enhance those tools that are missing in art in Pakistan.
And then you can learn visually. I think that's the concept, because ladies and gentlemen, imagine that. So you have a house, you want to do this projection mapping, so you can do on the exterior of your house as well. You can probably watch an entire film, and we can do that. But it's all about configurations and whatnot. But thank you very much for saying that, and I believe that it's a very important point which you've made, because we as audiences, I think, have grown, and a lot of times we have seen how TikTok has grown within the country, which means that our screen time, the population of Pakistan's screen time has enhanced to somewhere around 5 hours or 7 hours, where everybody wants to just be on their phones.
Yes.
And that might not be good, but we want to learn visually. That's what I'm going to take away from it. And projection mapping, ladies and gentlemen, is literally going to help you to achieve that as well, because you can share anything and everything. And to give you an example of that, what we've done is that we've taken a few pieces of your work which we want to share with the world.
For sure.
And show them how magnificent and how magnanimous it can be, and how differently it can be used as a marketing tool for all sorts of audiences, because it does not have a language barrier. You want to play music, you can play music. You want to play subtitles, you can play subtitles. You want to say it in Urdu, you can say it in Urdu. So let's go, let's take a look, and once you guys will come back, we'll talk about it further. Let's do it. Wow. I mean, certainly she truly deserves a big round of applause as well for the amount of work she has done, and that too with in such a short time. She's managed to do it with so many international brands. So that definitely speaks volume about the kind of work she does. And obviously, she happens to be a PhD as well. Wow. You certainly need to know these talented people from our soil as well. But let's talk about that a little.
Okay.
You know, for all of these amazing projects you have done, let's
Yes.
talk in detail about all of these projects. Please
For
go
sure.
ahead.
So the first project was like a demo gig. So I had really need to tell to the audience that for an art person, for an art taste, for an artistic vibe to live in a society, you really need to open up and promote yourself without thinking about money.
Yeah.
Okay, you really need to give in your 100% the first time you really want to hit the market and to be seen as an art person. Because जब आप होते हैं ना बच्चे ग्रो कर रहे होते हैं पाकिस्तान में ही होता है बेटा डॉक्टर बनना है बेटा इंजीनियर
Engineer.
बनना है यही फील्ड्स हैं और यही सर्वाइवल है आई 100% agree to that but the good thing about art is it's likable. It's liked by everyone. Everybody wants to have a nice place to sit in.
Yeah.
And the more artistic it is, the more likable and the more people appreciate you that you're enhancing.
It's instant gratitude.
Instant gratitude, exactly. So let's start with I've worked with F&B culture. So F&B culture specifically, since in Pakistan it's a bit limited, but outside we have bar culture.
Yep.
So I have done lighting shows for F&B and corporate and in conventional and conventional venues as well.
Yep.
So what you have is like different venues with concave architecture, with different forms of architecture that one needed to come like 3 to 4 days before and set up the projectors and test different content according to the client taste, and you have to really set it up 3 days before the main gig.
Yes.
So the worst come worse, if the light goes.
But you've been doing
Yes.
it outside Pakistan. I
Yes.
don't know whether you did encounter that issue or not. Did you?
Never.
Did you ever?
Never. Touch wood, never.
Never.
So the best gig I would say, like to summarize all the gigs, I would say would be Sea Games Malaysia. Sea Games Malaysia was an Olympic international event that Ministry of Asia supported that. So it was the government of Malaysia that called us and said that we really like your work and there is no one in Malaysia doing it at the same time.
Wow.
So the good and the bad thing, I would say there was no competition. So the good thing about having no competition is you get to charge however you want. But the bad thing is the challenge is a bit less creative when you don't have a competition. So Olympic Games, Sea Games was an event that was based for handicaps.
All right.
So handicapped
yes.
people, some had
Paralympics,
legs,
yes.
Paralympics, and they're taking part in sports. So
Yep.
arrow and some people on the wheelchair, the race. So it was really emotional and it was really nice. So we did a music video for them to background visuals, the ones that you guys have just seen in the video
Yeah,
of my
we're
work.
still playing them as well.
Yes, so that was one of the best gigs, I would say. And the second was World Fashion Week. World Fashion Week hosted 35 international designers from all around the world. Coming from Cape Town, South Africa, to Australia, to Malaysia. It covered all Spanish designers from Madrid. So I walked for almost, you could say, 25. And at the same time, I was doing visuals that you saw.
And then you have to be very precise with whatever you're making or creating as well.
For sure, for
Because
sure.
otherwise, you know, because it's fashion week, a lot of people are coming in, you really
Yeah.
need to be on point and
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no margin of mistake or error.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's wonderful that the kind of work you have done. And I'm going to come down to two very practical points over here. Number one, you said that it's not about money. All right. So I want to come back to that.
Your first ambition should
No,
be
but
revealed.
I want to come back to that.
Yeah.
Now, this is a rule, Sigma rule number one, ladies and gentlemen, and that is that whenever you commit to do something,
Yeah.
please make sure that you give it your 100% because you have committed to do it in the first place. Otherwise, don't commit to do it if you want to do it half-heartedly, number one, because it is certainly not about the money. You really need to develop a profile to be at a situation or in a position to ask for money. Number two, if there was no competition in Malaysia, what brings you back to Pakistan? You know, if you
Because
were
I
the
want to
only
be
one doing it over there.
international. If you're sticking to one country, then you're just national.
All right.
So I traveled to Vietnam as well. I traveled to Thailand. So I have done shows in Malaysia and Thailand. So the next one would have been Vietnam.
Wow.
But due to COVID and rules
Yeah.
and regulations, my industry got hit really bad.
True.
So it was all based
The event
on
industry.
real-time audience participation, right?
True.
So that was gone. So then I had to think about introducing it internationally and coming back to Pakistan, like how can I devise another way of projection that people still accept it? So then I introduced it in BNU, and guess what? They are really interested in it. Beacon House National University, same university I did bachelor's from.
Wow.
So they are really interested to discuss and program this as a course that students take.
Wow.
And since this technique is so explicit, it's a high-end professional digital multimedia.
And it's a lot of investment as well.
Yes, it's a lot of investment. So people are not really open to let this information out. So I am actually breaking the market and say, hey, sharing is caring, and you really need to share your art with people, because if everyone has an individual identity, so what you're good at and the other person will not be good at. So he might be good at something that I might not be good at. So therein lies the teaching side of it. So BNU, NCA, that's my ambition, that's my aim. So I'm going to start with BNU. That I've already spoken, and the discussion is going on, so I'm meeting them next week.
Wow.
So inshallah, mashallah, let's see how it goes.
And that's wonderful, and we certainly want to wish you best of luck as well. Number one, obviously, for you to kind of bring in a newer discipline within universities where people will have something newer to learn.
For sure.
Where obviously in Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, it took us years and years to bring international relations to within our universities as a course or as a discipline as well. So congratulations, number one. We hope and pray that it will be well received by all of the audiences. But don't you think that it's all about the demand and supply curve, and with COVID going on and the event industry kind of going down every single day, because you know there's no possibility of doing all of these events and public gatherings, do you think that the demand will actually increase?
I think what COVID has really done, it has narrowed down the niche for events, okay? So there are still events happening, but now...
Zarurat ke mutabik.
Zarurat ke mutabik. How many people are going to sit, or how far is one person is going to sit from the other. So when those rules start to come, the prices go up, more chairs come, more accommodation comes. So I'm just saying there's a niche. There's still weddings happening.
Yeah.
The people have not stopped getting married. Okay, so that's one aspect of it. So when you go in a university, and since I'm representing not just myself, I'm also representing a London registered company, Assembly Street, and AVP, Audiovisual Production, which is registered in States.
Wonderful.
That's one of my own companies as well. So we have come together in partnership to do whatever I have told you. So introducing courses, and when that cycle starts, then I can train members and they can carry on, and then I can still be international.
And then obviously it's a newer way to kind of, well, in fact, it would rather be the newest path ever somebody has figured out to make sure that how she will still continue to work. And I believe that it's one of the most brilliant moves I've heard today early in the morning as well. But thank you very much, Dr. Hina Umar, for being with us. We want to wish you best of luck. And there are a lot of people over here in Pakistan who are interested in projection mapping, and I've done a lot of events where there were a lot of people doing it, so be ready for the competition as well, which I hope and pray that you are already.
Thank you so much for inviting.
But congratulations to you, and congratulations to uncle and auntie, because they were the ones who trusted you in the first place and didn't push you to be a doctor and an engineer. So all sorts of artists, ladies and gentlemen, coming in today. What a Monday it is for me and for all of you out there as well. As we head out towards a short break, ladies and gentlemen, right after the break, we might have somebody who's got some amazing vocals. Let's do that. Good morning. All right, everyone, welcome back. Thank you very much for staying tuned to PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning. Alongside Shahzad Hassan Khan. Ladies and gentlemen, before heading out towards a short break, we were in conversation with Dr. Hina Umar, who happens to be a visual artist, and that to an international one, who's actually set her foot over here in Pakistan and making sure that she's actually going to introduce visual arts as a discipline within universities where people will get to learn more, and that to all sorts of art, because these days digital art is the thing. People are investing a lot of money, millions of dollars in NFTs, so please make sure that you get your hands onto it. Be keen to learn. But not just that, ladies and gentlemen, there's no limitation in the world of art, and whatever you think, whatever you want to create, you can certainly do that, which is why we artists are very sensitive people, but we certainly do not stop when it comes to creating something, when it comes to sharing with the rest of the world, when it comes to sharing your emotions. But we do not share our emotions by just sitting with a friend of ours and gossip about what's going wrong in life or probably what's going good in life. We do it in a very certain, subtle and different way where somebody might think that they want to sing, somebody might think that they want to paint, somebody might think that they probably need to do projection mapping and kind of illustrate whatever they're feeling. So today, obviously, is a day on Monday where we are actually having a lot of artists on the show, and I'm going to reassure everyone who's out there who's watching us, may you be from any country, any part of the world, you write to us on our pages and we will have you over here. We want to share this platform for all the future generations and for all the artists who think that they really need to be on this platform. You've had a lot of artists who've done such wonderful things, and their first ever interviews might be on World this morning as well. And we will share that journey soon, but today we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who first of all happens to be a one-man army. So he writes his own lyrics, he makes sure that he's going to compose his own music and then produce it and then put it out there for the world to kind of enjoy it. So first of all, obviously he's a singer, composer, producer, and he's a vlogger as well. We'll be in conversation with him. We're very lucky that we've been joined by Mr. Basit Malik. Hello, Malik Saab, assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for your team, how you're focusing on putting out the emerging talents. I'm so grateful for that.
And you finally emerged. Today is the day when you've emerged. You're
This is
out
the first time
there.
of mine on the TV, and I'm so nervous right now.
You certainly do not have to be nervous, and believe you me, just so you can take me as your younger brother or elder brother, whatever suits you. Make sure that you feel as if you're in your TV lounge with a couple of more TV sets and cameras in here, and some extra men as cameramen as well. So let's get the conversation started, Malik Saab. In the world of today where we have Atif Aslam, we have Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, where we had Ghulam Ali Saab, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, so all of these legendary people, because art is beyond borders. That's something I believe, and Lata Saiba passed away just yesterday as well. So, to be very honest, the way she has contributed towards the music industry is something we certainly want to talk about. But how did you get into it, and why did you get into it? Did you get into it because of the money, or because of the fame, or you always wanted to do this?
So basically, from the starting, I was planning to go for the army.
Okay.
But after my matriculation, I was like, no, Basi, you're not made for that.
Okay.
You have something else. I was used to write songs at night, and I was like an artist. There was some kind of artistic stuff in me. I said, Basi, you can do something else. So later on, I focused on myself, and I was like, Basit, तुमने singing करनी है.
Okay.
लेकिन कैसे करनी है बासित ने singing?
मुंह से?
मुंह से ही करनी है जाहिर बात है. तो बासित ने singing करनी कैसे है? क्यों बासित लिखता था तो my voice was only the way I can portray my writing skills.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Wonderful.
So after that, I started to write songs. I started to create a story kind of songs. My songs are completely like simple songs, but they are too relatable.
Okay.
So let me just give you a demonstration.
I want that demonstration, but I want to stick to the relatable part because, kids your age, I'll be very honest over here, they're usually in love, they usually write about heartbreaks, and certainly, within the time phase the time frame we're living in, music has gone from, there has been a transition from rock to pop and then hip hop, and then the genres just keep on coming towards a very soothing music as well. So let's give it away. Let's take the demo first, and then we'll move on.
Let me tell you one thing. I'm trying to explore a new genre in music.
Okay.
So I'm working on it right now.
What do you call this new genre? What do you call this?
I'm just figuring it out right now.
Okay, let's figure it out together.
So I'm going to present my song, Satke. It's not released right now. So it's kind of a story. Like from the start, I've been thinking of someone, and then I fell asleep and I'm dreaming about her, and then I wake up and I'm sad.
All
So
right.
it's a song about all
Let's,
that.
let's go on this journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
So it's
buckle up.
like, कुछ पल तो साथ गुजारो, कुछ पल तो प्यार दिला दो, कुछ पल तो यकीन तो करा दो, कुछ पल तो लम्हा बना दो, तेरे इश्क में बस के, तेरी जान के सदके मैं तड़पा हूँ अब तेरे प्यार के सदके,
वाह।
सदके सदके तेरे प्यारे प्यारे गजरे तड़पाते हैं अब रे, तू आ जा ताकि जिंदगी गुजरे, सदके सदके नीली रातों में चल के प्यारी बातें हम करके खुद को भूल बैठे हैं जैसे चांद फलक पे,
वाह।
हल्के 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 तेरे मीठे मीठे झलके, सोया ना मैं कल से, तू आ जा ताकि जिंदगी गुजरे, सदके सदके. Now I'm waking up from the dream.
All right, let's wake up. Let's wake up.
And then sad. काश राहों में चलते तेरी उंगली पकड़ते, बस यूं ही हम जीते, हाँ यूं ही हम मरते, बस मिल जा चलते चलते, सहारा ना कोई सर पे, तू आ जाता के जिंदगी गुजरे, सदके सदके.
Wow, yeah, that was fantastic, and you've
Thank you,
literally
sir.
brought a smile on my face, and I believe that the audiences out there have loved it as well.
Thank
It's
you so
beautifully
much.
written.
Thank you so
the
much.
the composition, I believe, is wonderful in your mind as well. I wanted
Thank you
the
so
people to listen to the music as well, but the way you put it, the highs and lows of it, they just make absolute sense. And you know what, while you were singing it and while you spoke about Gajre as well, I think that it will be a wonderful Mehndi song as well.
Yeah.
You know, and
Like a commercial vibe one.
exactly where, you know, and then towards the end where you're sad as well, I think we can put a Rukhsati visual on it, the way
We can.
Pakistanis love to do it. But, you know, for me to have a better understanding of this genre, obviously I'll talk about Shamoon Ismail, Tahaji, Manu, and all of these newer people who are
Yeah.
producing this music. There's this one other guy from Karachi, I do not remember his name, but I think he goes with DIK or something like that. That's the kind of music which is in. So do you
Yeah.
think that that's the kind of music it will have? Or if you want it to be a very Mehndi-oriented
No,
song?
no,
then-
never, ever. This song is just a commercial vibe song.
Yeah.
I used to rap. I also do rapping too.
Yeah.
So I'm creating a mixture of genres. Like I'm mixing rap with pop and all stuff like that. So at the end of the show, I'm going to present that song.
Wow.
So
I-
that
and
would
it's-
be a great. That would be great.
And I certainly want that, but let's rap for a minute as well. So, you know, just
Okay.
share your rapping skill with us, because that's the in thing these days.
Okay. So let me remember that song.
Yeah.
This is like Bekarari,
Yeah, let's do it, Baker.
and I do melodic rap.
All right, let's do it.
बेकरारी मेरे सर पे तारी, देखा ना मैं चाहूँ ये दुनिया सारी, जाने कहाँ से मुझे तुम मिले थे, जीवन नजीरन मेरी जिंदगी सारी, रुकने लगी मेरे दिल की ये गाड़ी, जिंदगी मेरी तूने जाना उजाड़ी, आहिस्ता आहिस्ता अब ये दिल हुआ शिकस्ता, खस्ता मक्का उस पे सावन की पिचकारी, जाना जाना ना पहचाना इश्क तेरा था ये बेमाना, मेरे दिल में आके मेरा दिल ही किया वीराना, जाना जाना ना पहचाना इश्क तेरा था ये बेमाना, मेरे दिल में आके मेरा दिल ही किया वीराना, किया वीराना, किया वीराना. ये दिल वीराना तो क्या दिल में तू बाकी है, इश्क करूं मैं पर ये गैरत ना बाकी है, छोड़ दूं ज़माना क्या ऐसी बेहिसाबी है, याद आएगी तुझको भी पर याद ये अज़ाबी है, बाकी है मेरे दिल में यादें तेरी आती है, भूल जाऊं दुनिया लेकिन दुनिया ना बाकी है जाना जाना ना पहचाना इश्क तेरा था ये बेमाना मेरे दिल में आके मेरा दिल ही किया वेराना जाना.
Wow, yeah, wow, that is just surreal and beautiful. And let me tell you one more thing as well, Basit, over here, and that is that I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people, and I've interviewed people who want to be musicians and singers and artists and whatnot from all walks of life. And I'll be very honest, even though they say that, you know, you shouldn't actually be tarifing somebody on their face, but let me tell you, your body language, your confidence, the way you present yourself is absolutely perfect.
Thank
and you
you
have
so
a
much,
beautiful
thank you so
future
much, thank you so
ahead,
much.
and all you need is exposure. And from today onwards, the journey is on. You've
Journey is
emerged,
on, journey
and
is
you
on.
just need to produce music and then put it out there for
Yeah.
the world, because that's the kind of music people want. It has a very lovely vibe to it. It has a very positive vibe to it, and
Yeah.
your smile kind of adds to it as
Thank
well.
you so much, thank you so much.
Congratulations on doing what you in the first place wanted to do, and that's something which I was kind of talking about prior to you being on the show with Dr. Hina as well, that, you know, that whatever we visualize as people, whatever we want to do, while we have this dedication and passion inside, and when we commit to it, that we commit to it 100%, and that's when people love it, and that's wonderful. But then, now what happens is that obviously your parents have allowed you to pursue your goal
Yeah.
of being a singer and do whatever you want to do. You're doing vlogging as well. But education is imperative, it's
Okay.
pivotal, it's important. And that's something which my parents focused on while I wanted to be on television ever
Okay.
since as well. So what about education?
Okay, for education, I'm doing my bachelor's in business administration.
Wow, I did
You'll-
that too.
You'll think about it like how two unrelated things these are.
No, they're not. They're not at all, because I did it myself, and then I majored in marketing.
All right, that's good, that's good.
I did my major in marketing, then in masters my majors was in marketing as well, and then I started selling myself.
All right, all. So this music is my passion. I don't want to sell it. I just want to create music and for myself, for my happiness.
All right.
I don't want to sell it. I just want to do business in my future.
Yep.
So I'm doing right now business studies, and for me, I believe I'm doing a lot of things to it. Like I'm doing freelancing, I'm doing videography, I'm doing vlogging, and a lot of stuff.
Yep.
And from my view, for the channel I created on my YouTube, I want to state that a human brain has a capacity to do so much, so damn much. Like you can do each and everything. I was not a God-gifted singer. I tamed my voice. I did practice on it.
Wow.
So I believe when you have no hurdles in your mind, you can do each and everything flawlessly.
And that's what we want people to do as well. But, you know, I'm going to give you one, I don't know whether I should give you this piece of advice or not, but while you're creating, please make sure that you add so much value that people certainly
Yeah.
pay you to listen
Yeah.
to whatever you're creating.
Right.
And that's something which is important. And keep it closer to your heart. It's good that you want to create it for yourself. But I've seen musicians who just wanted to create for themselves. They weren't really a massive hit within the audiences. So you really need to keep them in mind, that
Yeah.
who are the people, what's the kind of cult you are going to create out of your followers, which is why I certainly want you to sing one more song, and that too, we're going to play some music that you can do -1 on that. But let me just wrap it up for all of those audiences who are out there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for staying tuned. It was wonderful to be in conversation with our wonderful guest, and that you guys were out there as well. Please make sure that you write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of World This Morning. On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G. On Dailymotion YouTube, it's World This Morning. Pakistan is one of the most beautiful places with the most beautiful and talented people. Look after yourselves. Good morning. Over to you, Malik.
I want music.
Yeah, the music is going to be live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's play the music. We're trying. We're still focusing
No
on
worries,
it.
no worries. So let me tell you about my vlogging stuff.
Yeah.
So my vlogging is
Yep.
okay. So let me make a vlog right now.
So we're making a vlog live on television. Meanwhile, we're trying to play some music so that Malik can sing.
Hello everyone, this is Basim Malik. Hope you're fit and fine and shining like a bright day. And today we are having our host Shahzad
Yeah, hello guys.
Khan.
And Malik is actually going to sing us a song, which is why Malik is over here. He's a wonderful guy. He's doing some wonderful work over here. And people over there, please don't feel that I'm ignoring you guys. You guys are the topmost priority. And people over here, obviously. So Malik, so we're going to put you through a challenge, and that is that we might not play the music, but we still want you to sing. Please go ahead.
All right. So the song is called Tu Hi Tu.
Tu Hi Tu.
And I wrote it for someone. So let
All
me sing.
right. तू ही तू. She's still around?
ख्वाबों ही ख्वाबों में तुझसे मिलने लगा, ऐसे ही रातों में यूं रोज खिलने लगा. ख्वाबों ही ख्वाबों में तुझसे मिलने लगा, ऐसे ही रातों में यूं रोज खिलने लगा. तेरी आंखें, तेरी बातें, फरवरी की लंबी रातें, तेरी खुशबू, तेरी सांसें, मेरे पाने की जुस्तजू. हर जगह तू ही तू, हर तरफ तू ही तू. मेरी सांसों में अब बसे तेरी खुशबू. तन्हाई में भी तू, मुश्किलों में भी तू. मेरी जिंदगी में अब हर पल तू ही तू, तू ही तू, तू ही तू.
Wonderful, yeah, wonderful.
Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Great energy, great personality.